Our final writer tonight, Kristin Latour, has 3 chapbooks published, the most recent being Agoraphobia with Dancing Girl Press. She has also had poems in journals such as Fifth Wednesday, Cider Press Review, Americana Review, and others. A resident of Aurora, she teaches at Joliet Junior College and is the co-curator of the WIT Poetry Series in Darien. Kristin, please.
Hello. I'm usually a pretty low-tech writer. I like paper, but my printer was not speaking to my computer today. Evidently, we had some kind of squabble over the evening. So I'm reading off my iPad, which I don't usually do. I'm going to start with a work in progress, and then I'll read some published poems. Spider Girl doesn't spin webs. She crochets them like sticky doilies, trapping her criminals with her craft. She knows how to sting with her whiplash wit. Spider Girl doesn't get a pixie cut, doesn't fasten down her breasts to avoid tight situations. Her identity is still safe behind the mask, curls or no. Spider Girl knows the intricate tangent between skyscrapers and the parabola curve of her flight from one to the other. She has no trouble in the dark. Spider Girl devours novels and draws charcoal portraits of her nemeses. She quilts baby blankets for orphans. She sees all the connections. Spider Girl can take a sock and a pow, bounce back after she's thrown into a wall or through a window. She knows she can cry later. She was born in blood. Spider Girl's bite was no accident. She stuck her hand in the webby cage and grasped what she knew was her destiny, watching the bubbling bite. All right. I like ekphrastic poems, poems that are, oh, you don't have to clap. It's okay. You can wait till the end if you want. It's okay. I like ekphrastic poems, poems that are about art. So Spider Girl was based on a poem, it's a poem based on a piece of artwork that I saw in a cafe where it was a fake comic book cover of Spider Girl. I was like, oh, Spider Girl. Is there a Spider Girl? A real one?
Now there is.
Now there is. I don't think there's a real Spider Girl. There's a Supergirl. And there's Wonder Woman. There needs to be a Spider Girl. So this is a poem based on art that we probably all made as children when your teachers, your history teachers said, go home and make a diorama based on a historical event, and you went home and found a shoebox and you found some little toys, Tinker toys, and you made something. Life in a 5th grade diorama. I want to break the 4th wall, come crashing into real life, falling from the tabletop onto soft shag. Instead, I stay here in a half-ass version of history with dyed green pine shavings underfoot and blue acrylic sky with cotton ball clouds. I think I am a farmer, or maybe a father looking for his child. Behind me is a drawn log cabin with gray crayon smoke curling up from the chimney. There's a gun in my hand, but it's pointing at nothing in particular. I can see a cardboard table with 4 misshapen legs topped with what might be a bowl of soup, a grenade, or an acorn. I wish I had a mirror so I could tell what my role is, know what I'm supposed to represent. Yesterday, I was a soldier in the jungles of Vietnam, and tomorrow I hope to be back with my comrades and not be so out in the open, obsessed with the smell of poltergeists, waiting for the radio's address. I'm now looking. Because I had downloaded everything, and it was all here. And now I'm not seeing it. I might have to change my reading. Is that okay?
Yeah.
You can throw me out now. I can stay. Yeah. I have plenty of something else. It's just the what I planned because of my technology problems. Poem Where I Travel. I spent the morning in Belgium on a Chicago street, surrounded by illegal parkers and Pomeranians enjoying croissants. I was nostalgic for Paris, but had to settle for American French roast coffee and pastries thick with almond paste. The news flashed about people shot to death in New York, 19 more dead in Chicago, a woman being released from a Colorado hospital, fully recovered, but scarred from bullets slicing through her stomach. How nice to read the news in my native tongue in a foreign country, the steam from my coffee fogging my glasses. I remembered being in Turkey the day before, cardamom in my coffee and experiencing myself covered in silk, eyes rimmed in kohl. I didn't worry about guns or suicide bombers, dynamite warm against their chests and bellies. I only knew that if I let down my veil, made contact with the strange man eyeing me from the counter, my life would bend to his will. This is why I am in Belgium, a peaceful country with a soothing language. Thank you. You're so nice. It's such a pretty audience here tonight. It is so nice to read in front of people who just come out to listen to people reading. That's really wonderful. Yes. Many readings, it's writers reading to just the other writers who are there to read, and so this is a joy. Recipe for a Star. Mix Samson blue and Madison pink in a glass jar with a zinc lid. Whisper through a Turkish grill carved with 6-pointed hexagrams and topped with onion domes. Each layer of an onion is a universe. On another tangent, your body holds the dust of an ancient particle that flew across space and somehow landed in your mother's womb. Your whisper must include words like polyphony, panoply, zenith, and azimuth. Set the jar behind a decrepit barn that once was painted brick red, whose door hangs ajar like a little boy's almost pulled tooth. Walk to the east, past the oaks to the cottonwoods that lean over the river like old toothless men. Gather the flecks of sunlight that ripple over the lazy water into the pocket of an apron. Let the sparkles fall from your fingers to the ground around the bottle. Wait for night.
Kristin, I have a poem.
You do? Thank you, because it was rather awkward. I don't mind reading other poems, but I feel like I let you down if I don't read the ones.
You can read others if you want, but here they are.
Excellent. Yay. I didn't hear that.
Good luck seeing it.
Oh no, that's what these are for. And I'm getting to the age where my eyesight is improving for a short period of time before it all just goes south. Yay. It's coming. I know it's coming. So I will enjoy this moment where I can wear one pair of glasses that does not yet have bifocals. This is another ekphrastic poem. This is after a piece of sculpture. After sitting with Christopher Smith's still life. If she weren't carved from granite, Her hands would be clenched and her back stick straight. Her open eyes would be painted white, and her hair would fall loose over her breasts. Probably, her hips would be more narrow and draped in Dupuani silk. I expect she'd speak in stock phrases that would hover over her head in pink balloons, wanting to please. Isn't she more interesting, lying on her side, her belly sagging a little toward the bed, and sleeping? And this is a fun poem. Dan had a dream poem. This is a dream kind of poem. I have never watched a Bollywood movie in my life. I know, I feel so bad saying that out loud. And after watching Bollywood movies all day with Ruth, I find a poem. Two childless women with an afternoon of snow and New England cold. What else was there to do but spend hours admiring silk saris and glittering dancer steps? To laugh at tears and romance, dark-haired princes and pot-bellied villains, only to drift into the wood stove spell and fall warmly to sleep. We gathered thread and silk to sew away the autumn afternoon hours, remembering summer's pink roses as we sat in the courtyard's cool when you gasped, remembering your misplaced baby girl. We had been to the bazaar in the shade of the morning for kohl and amber perfume. We sped, veils blowing, to the marketplace stalls, lining narrow streets crowded with men and chickens. Terrified, we looked in the cages filled with rabbits and canaries, sang out her name, which I can't recall, our noses filled with cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, coriander, and our henna'd hands pulled apart carts full of scarves. And the men screamed at us to go away or calm down and drink a little tea. All of them with mustaches. All of them too well fed. We found her in a bin of fava beans covered in cabbage leaves, long carrots in her chubby hands, yams propping her up. The tall young man had dressed her in his vegetables, but told everyone she was not for sale. Flashing your eyes at his broad white smile, you took the silver scoop, dipped her out and into the basket suddenly in your hand. He offered his arm to walk us back, but you said no, even as I was nodding yes. Will you stay for dinner? You asked me as we wove our way back. My hand snapped from my wrist, skittered back to the stalls to buy ink and paper to write this poem. Thank you. I think I'll do one more, and I'll do another ekphrastic garden. This is based again on sculpture, but it's an artist who works in glass, and I was admiring all the glass artwork that's back in the gift shop. But he does realistic life-size insects with teeny tiny little flowers, and then he covers them in glass orbs. And some of these, Paul Stankard, he's amazing, and I don't know how he does this. So this is actually a poem about me that I about other people. I like petting bees. If you have never petted a bee, you have not lived. When they're cold and they're tired, it's a better time to pet them than when if it's very hot outside. They don't like to be petted. They're busy and they have things to do. But wait until they're sleepy. To my friend who pets bees in her garden, be happy they are encased in glass. Clearly, if you tried to touch them, a sweet sting would tell it true. Honey is sacred and their buzz is a song of golden gods. It's true that flowers seldom grow so close to a hive, but listen. The blue of their petals protects from the sun or rain, catching drops before they hit the comb. You wonder about symbol and metaphor, The glass sphere, the number of bees, 19. The way they seem to fly north, then east. Each bee made of at least 15 drops of glass. Each hexagon precise and paper thin. Stop counting, I tell you. Have faith. You say it's just sand, but no, this time it's honey. Thank you very much.